The Roman Empire, one of the greatest civilizations in history. It gave us roads, aqueducts, architecture, and even the modern calendar. But it didn't last forever. Have you ever wondered why such a powerful empire collapsed? Well, grab your imaginary time machine because today we're traveling back over 1,500 years to explore the top 10 reasons why Rome fell. 1. Political corruption and instability. Imagine living in a country where leaders are constantly being overthrown, assassinated, or bribed. Sounds chaotic, right? Well, that's exactly what happened in Rome. Between 235 and 284 AD, Rome had over 20 emperors. Many ruled for just a few years before being murdered or replaced. With no strong leadership, the empire became unstable, and rival groups fought for power. 2. Economic decline and heavy taxation. Now let's talk about money. Rome was once super rich, but over time the economy collapsed. Heavy taxes made life difficult for ordinary people. Inflation skyrocketed, meaning money lost its value. Instead of using gold and silver, Rome even started making coins with cheaper metals, which made things worse. Trade slowed and poverty increased. By 300 AD, many businesses were struggling and farmers abandoned their lands. 3rd, military weakness and overexpansion. Rome was huge, stretching from Britain to the Middle East, but managing such a vast empire was tough. More land meant more soldiers were needed to defend it. Unfortunately, Rome started relying on mercenaries, foreign soldiers paid to fight. But here's the problem: they weren't always loyal. Many of them cared more about money than Rome itself. By the late 300s AD, the Roman army was struggling to defend its borders. 4. Barbarian invasions. Now, let's talk about Rome's biggest external threat, the barbarians. These were fierce warrior groups like the Visigoths, Vandals, and Huns, who attacked Rome repeatedly. In 376 AD, the Visigoths were allowed to enter Roman territory but were treated badly, leading them to rebel. In 410 AD, the Visigoths, led by Alaric, actually sacked Rome, burning, looting, and destroying much of the city. Then, in 476 AD, the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, was overthrown by a Germanic leader named Odoacer. That was the official end of the Western Roman Empire. 5. Decline of Roman legions. Rome's army used to be the strongest in the world, but as discipline weakened, so did their power. Soldiers became lazy, untrained, and unmotivated. Many Roman legions were filled with non-Roman mercenaries who had no real loyalty to the empire. Without a strong army, Rome became vulnerable to attacks. By 450 AD, the once mighty Roman legions were struggling to defend the empire. 6. Weakening of Roman identity and morale. Rome was once proud of its traditions, values, and culture, but as the empire grew, so did outside influences. Many Romans no longer felt a connection to their homeland. People started prioritizing their own interests over the empire's well-being, and patriotism declined. By the 5th century AD, Rome had lost its sense of unity and purpose. 7. The rise of Christianity. Now this one is a bit controversial. Some historians believe that Christianity helped bring down Rome. Why? Well, before Christianity, Romans worshipped many gods and saw the emperor as divine. But in 313 AD, Emperor Constantine the Great legalized Christianity with the Edict of Milan. Later, in 380 AD, Emperor Theodosius I made Christianity the official religion of the empire. This shift changed Roman society and weakened the emperor's authority, as people now looked to the church for leadership instead of the state. 8. The division of the empire. One of the biggest mistakes Rome made was splitting itself in two. In 285 AD, Emperor Diocletian divided Rome into the Eastern and Western empires to make governing easier. The eastern half, known as the Byzantine Empire, thrived, but the western half, not so much. By 395 AD, after the death of Emperor Theodosius I, Rome was officially divided for good. Without enough resources or strong leadership, the Western Roman Empire crumbled much faster. 9. Plague and population decline. Imagine living in a city where a deadly disease spreads rapidly, killing millions. Well, that's exactly what happened to Rome. Plagues, like the Antonine Plague, 165 to 180 AD, and the Cyprian Plague, 249 to 262 AD, wiped out a huge part of the population. With fewer people, the economy collapsed, farms were abandoned, and the military had fewer soldiers. Rome simply couldn't recover. 10. Incompetent leadership. Finally, we come to one of the biggest reasons Rome fell: terrible leadership. Many later emperors were weak, corrupt, or just plain bad at ruling. Some spent more time partying than governing. Others wasted money on luxuries while the empire burned. By 455 AD, Emperor Valentinian III was assassinated, and leadership became even more unstable. Bad decisions, like hiring barbarian mercenaries, only made things worse. Without strong leaders, Rome was doomed. So, what can we learn from Rome's downfall? Well, even the most powerful empires can collapse if they suffer from weak leadership, economic struggles, and internal divisions. The Western Roman Empire officially ended in 476 AD, but its legacy still lives on in our laws, languages, and architecture. And remember, the Eastern Roman Empire, also called the Byzantine Empire, survived for another 1,000 years. It didn't fall until 1453 AD, when the Ottoman Turks captured Constantinople. But that's a story for another day. Thanks for joining this historical adventure.